Almost time.
It looks like it's almost time for us to mute and
Okay.
Crowd is growing.
We never know how accurate their start is, but we'll just take it when it comes.
that's right. That's right.
All right, I'm going to turn this church sound back up.
Okay. And I'm not sure, but I believe that is maybe Suzanne Mathis. Running together.
Enjoy the service, everyone.
Thank you, Rich.
Taking a shower, or, walking, or whatever, moving. Yeah. All right, here we go.
I hear Scott saying, "Here we go." So we must be ready.
Do you have a bell ring?
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Kanawha Valley on Sunday, November 20th. We begin our service with the ringing of the bell and the lighting of the Christ candle. We ring the bell and we light the candle as a reminder of the spark of the divine that dwells in each and every one of us. And if you would, you'll find our opening statement on the inside of your bulletin. And let's read that together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And sit with that truth for just a moment. And then repeat it with me once more. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. Our songs this morning are led by Ron and accompanied by Jeff.
Good morning. How are you today? Would you please stand and we will sing Surely the Presence right inside your front cover. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on His face. Surely the presence of our God
Yes. Oh, once again, welcome to everyone who is here in the sanctuary and everyone who is joining us electronically. We are so happy that you chose to spend some time with us today. For announcements, we are continually collecting luggage and backpacks for the Davis Children's Center. Just drop those items here at the church, and Dewey Lester will get those to the children at the center. UKV is a tithing church, which means that 10% of everything that comes in goes out to bless others. And this month we are tithing to the Sojourner Shelter. And this is a shelter run by the YWCA. They have 75 beds that help women and families in emergency situations. And so we're very honored to support them in their work. And also, if you want to further support them, there's a barrel down at the bottom of the stairs. And for this month of November, Sojourners is requesting non-perishable food and coffee. And let's see, we still have a few t-shirts and tote bags for sale. There's a table in the lending library. Monday night is Barbie's Radical Prosperity Group. This will be session number 3. You do not have to attend every session, even if you haven't been yet and you want to try it out, you are welcome.
Mental prosperity.
This week we will be discussing mental prosperity. Last week it was health. I think the week before that was emotional prosperity, yes. So it's a very interesting group. We have, what, almost 20, right? Yeah, there was 19 last week. So come be with us, share your energy. We have a great time. And you need to save the dates. On Wednesday, December 14th, right here in the sanctuary, will be the candle lighting service. The very next Wednesday will be the solstice concert. And then on Sunday, January 8th, we will have our burning bowls service. And I believe that's all I have today, so I will turn it over to Sky. Okay, Pam wants to say something?
We had a board meeting Thursday night, so the bulletin's already outdated.
Okay.
We are decorating the church next Saturday at 9 a.m., and there'll be coffee and donuts.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that so that everybody on Zoom, in case they want to trek here, next Saturday. And what time?
9.
At 9 a.m. We will be here to decorate the church for the holidays. There will be coffee and donuts, so extra incentive to come out and help beautify our church. Okay, so now it's time for Sky.
Thank you so much, Janet. Good morning. Welcome, bienvenido, shalom, namaste, aloha, and buongiorno to our member in Italy. My name is Sky Kirshner. The light in me greets the light in you. I want to welcome you to Unity Live and Unity Online. Thank you for being with us from wherever you are. I want to acknowledge a few folks who are here, not for the first time, but Julie Pratt is here with her friend Sherry Koch. Stand up and say hello. Sherry's been with us on Zoom, and this is her first time here live, so please say hello to her. And we've got Kurt Almusk, who's here because we're honoring his wife, Patricia, as part of our honoring. And Kurt and Patricia were one of our founding members. And Frank DeBreo is here. Frank, it's great to see you. And we are invoking the memory of members and friends who we lost during the COVID time, not necessarily to COVID, but you can see surrounding us is a cloud of witnesses, as the Apostle Paul says, people who are friends and members who have passed over the last 2.5 years. We were not able to do them complete justice in terms of their memory, and so today is dedicated to remembering them and honoring their memory. The Sunday morning after party continues in the Sunday school room, so if you would like to join the Zoomers discussing the service, please feel free. The book club will not be meeting this Thursday because due to Thanksgiving. It was either cancel Thanksgiving or cancel the book club, and book club got canceled, and greeting of the church on Saturday. The mission of Unity of Kanawha Valley is to help create and support a welcoming community that values love, acceptance, and spiritual exploration based on unity principles. If you're here or watching us for the first time, I want to say welcome to you. Here at Unity, we celebrate our being alive together. Each of us is worthy of dignity and respect with no exceptions. We affirm our diversity. We recognize that each of us is on our own unique journey and that we are here to support each other in our uniqueness. It's my hope that you will know that you are welcome here just as you are, that you are free to be yourself, and you are invited to explore some ideas that might be useful in your life. I invite you to take what works for you and leave the rest. If you want to know more about Unity, check us out online at unitywv.com. If you've been attending or would like to consider becoming a friend or member, please let me know. Prayer is a central part of what we are about, so let's do a short little prayer right now. Would you soften your gaze, close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Let a smile come to your face and notice how your body responds to that smile. And would you say silently to yourself, God is love, and nothing can separate me from that love. God is love, and nothing can separate me from that love. And for today, would you imagine holding one of our past members, standing or sitting in front of you, conjure up there an image of them. Today we are remembering Ayla Chad, Charlie Bull, Ruth Davis, Adam Flowers, Allison Flowers, Lorene Navio, Patricia Olmusk, Juanita Ruth One, Patricia Richmond, Dottie Sherrow, Dreama Slack, and Blue Westfall. Would you imagine one or several of those folks in front of you? Would you imagine looking them in the eye and seeing them look you in the eye? Can you let gratitude for this person fill your heart? And would you say to them silently, thank you for being with me here today. Thank you for being with me here today. And can I ask you to stand, please, if you don't mind? Let's just practice one leg. So 10 seconds on one leg. We don't want anybody falling, so this is the best practice against falling. Would you yawn and stretch? And find somebody who's sitting by themselves or someone who's new, and would you say to them, thank you for being with us here today. Thank you for being with us here today. Thank you for being here with us today. Well, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Your being here today is part of the world that we are creating together. Every small thing you do today makes a difference in your life and in the life of those around us. I want to thank the universe, God, the source of all life and love, for another day on this amazing journey. I want to thank everyone who's made this service possible. For Stephen Keith and our bodacious board of broad-minded buoyancy, brilliance, breathtaking balance, benevolence, and badass blessedness. That includes Barbie, Rich, Laura, David, Mary Beth, and Sally. For Pam, our multitasking magician of administrative magic. Yay! For Ron and Jeff, our hardworking heroes of heavenly humor and harmony. For you're getting the pre-Thanksgiving applause is what's happening here. For Janet, our jubilant general of joie de vivre. For Ernie Kessel, our hostess with the mostess in online hospitality. For Rich and Bobby Lee, our zeroed-in Zohans of the Zoom zone. For our prodigious prayer chaplains who call each member every month with a powerful and pertinent reminder of perfect presence. Sharon, Janet, Marianne, Laura, Alexa, Sally, and Beth. For Violet, our junior bell ringer, our vaccinated verger of vibrational voices, thank you for ringing our bell, Violet. And I want to remind you that God is our source. The pen is in your hand, and a new day is dawning for us all. And let's enter into a longer period of silence and prayer as we appreciate the beauty of this present moment. So you might notice the sounds that are here in the room. Little movements as we get more comfortable. The sound of the air moving through the heating system. You might notice the experience of having a body and of being in a body. Places of tension. You might bring your awareness to those spots in your body. See how they respond to your simple awareness as you attend to whatever might be tight. As we practice opening up our lungs, noticing the breath. This cycle of bringing in, exchanging, letting go, and relaxing. All of life, all relationships, all love, all being here in this material world involves taking in, exchanging, letting go, and relaxing. And so we come together to honor this experience today. The collecting, the taking in, the exchanging, the sharing of our lives, the inevitable letting go, and the relaxing. Jesus said, "Seek ye the kingdom, The kingdom is among you, it is at hand, it is in your midst, and it is within. And so we consider this teaching that the kingdom is within. And as we go within, we discover a spacious realm inside us. This is a space where we can connect with the source of all that is, all prosperity, all sufficiency, all that we need for the day. No matter what's happening in the circumstances on the outside, within we have a sense that all is well. This is a place of all healing, where every cell in the body knows what it needs
I
to do.
am,
as part
but
of
I
its
want to
life
move this
cycle.
in there. I just don't want to have to sit here and do nothing.
This is a place of cure as well as a place of acceptance for what is. And so today we seek acceptance for what is and the healing that comes with that. This is a place of fun and enjoyment, a place where we recognize the beauty of the world and the fun of the world. This is a place of healing, relationship, of love, of connection, and also of repair and apology, forgiveness and reconciliation. And this is a place of guidance, where the still small voice still speaks, where we come to see that the signs of love are everywhere, where we practice having the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And it's from this place that we reach out to anyone, anywhere, in any need or trouble. Those living in fear, those who are running for their lives, those who are imprisoned, those who are being oppressed, those who are being crushed. Those who have put their lives at risk for the freedom to be who they are. We remember those suffering with disease and illness, those suffering from addiction, those suffering with anxiety, depression, and guilt. We remember those who are alone. And it's from this place, from the fullness of our hearts, that we reach out in our mind's eye to anyone, anywhere, in any need or trouble. We know that God's presence is spread out equally throughout this universe. This universe is a manifestation of God's presence. And we know that the awareness of God's presence is possible at every moment for every person in every circumstance with no exceptions. And for this, we are grateful.
The daily word for today, Sunday, November 20th, 2022, is grace. Grace blesses my life in every way. If I am feeling overwhelmed or find myself in the midst of conflict, I don't need to struggle. Grace, the ceaseless activity of divine love, is mine to claim. This infinite resource of spirit carries me through even the most challenging circumstances. It is expressing in my life right now. I need not earn grace. It is never withheld. Just as water flows when I turn on the tap, saying yes to grace is all I have to do for divine life, love, wisdom, and strength to flow freely to every part of my body. Centered in grace, I am at peace. My thinking is clear, and I possess ample understanding, compassion, and insight. Drawing from this divine gift, I bring harmony and joy to my relationships. I move forward with renewed confidence, energy, and efficiency. And from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness."
John tells us of a city so high up above, where we'll see our in love. We'll meet over yonder in that heavenly place, and there we'll see our brothers face to face. And I can almost see the lights of the city, and they're shining down on me, and I can almost see the lights of the city. Forever, Lord, I shall be And John tells us about a time, don't you know, where time itself shall be no more. In the days when the trumpet shall blow, we'll meet over yonder in that heavenly place, and there we'll see our sisters face to face. And I can almost see the lights of the city, and they're shining down on me. Oh, I can almost see the lights of the city. Forever, Lord, I shall be free. All right, come on, Jim. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Okay, you know it now. And I can almost see the lights of the city, and they're shining down on me. Oh, I can almost see the lights of the city. Forever, Lord, I shall be free. Forever, Lord, I shall be free.
Absolutely beautiful. You know, I was looking at this picture of Ruth Davis with the Christmas tree, and I was counting up how many lights are in that tree. I think we have just the right number of lights. I think they're twinkling a little bit for the folks we're remembering today. But first, Phil, do you think Violet would like to come up, or are you pretty calm right now? And what would you like to do? All right, that's a no. Oh, we're coming anyway. That happens. Welcome to this world.
She needs to get used to this.
Yeah. Hi, Phil. Hi, Violet. Let's see what we have today. We have an unhappy girl. We have tears. I see a picture of an elephant.
Look at the cards.
And a baby elephant. I see a picture of a dragonfly. Let's support the diversity. Okay, we're going to support. Everybody gets supported here. Let's hear it for Phil and for Violet. She told us she didn't want to come, and next time we'll listen to her. I was just so happy, right? Why did that man drag me up there? Yeah. Well, a man walks out onto the street and catches a taxi just as it's passing by. He gets in the taxi and the driver says, "Perfect timing. You're just like Frank." The passenger says, "Who?" And the cab driver says, Frank Feldman. He's a guy who did everything right all the time, just like my coming along when you happened to need a cab. Things happen like that to Frank all the time. The passenger said, well, there are always a few clouds for everybody. I'm not always this lucky. And the cabbie said, well, not Frank. Frank was always this lucky. He was a terrific athlete. He would have won every game that he ever played, grand slams, golf, holes in one. He sang opera so beautifully. He danced like a Broadway star. You should have heard him play. He sounds like an amazing guy, the passenger said. Oh, there's more. He had a memory like a computer. He remembered everybody's birthday. He knew all about wine, which foods to order, which fork to use. He could fix anything. Not like me. I change a fuse and the whole street blacks out. But Frank could do everything right. The passenger said, wow, he sounds like some guy. He always knew the quickest way in traffic, and he avoided traffic jams, not like me. I always seemed to get stuck in them. He would never, and he would always make the women in his life very happy. He would never answer back to his wife, even when she was wrong, and his clothes were always immaculate. His shoes were always amazing and polished. He was the perfect man. He could never make a mistake. No one could ever measure up to Frank Feldman. The passenger said, well, he sounds absolutely amazing. How did you meet him? The cabbie said, well, I never actually met Frank. He died, and I married his wife. It's a good one, isn't it? Put your hand on your heart, please, and repeat after me. This is my heart. Through it I am connected to my neighbor, to my source, and to myself. Thank you. I'm learning to trust it in all things, and I am grateful. Amen. Well, this idea from the Apostle Paul, I forget which letter, maybe the one to the Corinthians, where he says, we are surrounded by a host of witnesses who help us to run the race that is before us. I think of this host of witnesses as the cheering section. We all have private saints. We all have big S saints. We honor them on All Saints' Day. And now we're catching up with our very personal saints here, the saints of Unity of Kanawha Valley, especially the ones who have gone on before us in the past 2.5 years. So I took some photographs that I have gathered over the years, and I have created our cheering section here. We are surrounded by a host of witnesses, so you can see photographs of Ayla, Ruth, Dottie, and Patricia, Patricia Richmond, Juanita Ruth One, Fred Blue Westfall, who is that over here? Dreama and Charlie Bull, Adam and Allison, who both passed away in the last 2.5 years, Flowers, and Lorene Navio. And as I was thinking about how we might use this time, one of the thoughts that I had, and Sharon came up to me and said, how are we going to get through this? And I said, I don't know. We'll just get through it one step at a time. And I was thinking about tears and what the evolutionary purpose of tears are. You know, there's a function. There's a reason that human beings cry. Just like there's a reason human beings smile. We're born with the ability to smile. Why do we smile? Because we need, when we're born, we need relationships. We need people to love us. And it turns out if a baby smiles in an adult, it's pretty dang hard not to smile back. Can I get an amen on that, right? If Violet smiles at you, right, she's letting you smile back. Tears, sad tears, have an evolutionary purpose. They cause the face to shine. They cause the face to glisten. And what's the evolutionary purpose of sending this signal to your hunter-gatherer community? What's the advantage of people seeing this glistening on your face? The evolutionary psychologists assume that it means, and Laura, you can tell me what you think, it means, I need help. Please come and be with me. So when we cry, we're just simply saying, we're part of this community, and I'm glad we're doing this together. We don't want anyone to cry alone. When you cry, it's a signal. Now, sometimes I get it. I spent many years where I wasn't able to cry in the presence of other people because other people just felt too dangerous to me, psychologically dangerous. But when you cry, if you cry, that's what you're saying. You're saying, I don't want to be alone with this. I want to share this burden. Please come. So here's what I thought we might do. We have these beautiful faces surrounding us. And I thought we have a nice chunk of time here. If you feel so inclined to go to one of the photographs and pick it up and bring it up here and say something. I know some of you could say something about each of these photographs. But it's kind of like in the movie Coco, that idea of the Mexican Day of the Dead. People are remembered as long as people in this world remember their name and lift up their stories. So let's give this a try. I was also thinking that there are probably many greetings that people would want to send to these folks. So after the service, if you would like, you can get a pen from the pew in front of you. There are usually pens in those little holders. And feel free to come and write something on the back of one of these if you'd like to say hello. Whatever you'd like to say, that seems to be a healing thing to speak to these people who we miss. Is everybody, is my idea reasonably clear? I do have a couple that I'm going to just start off with. Alexa wrote several on the thing. Would you be willing to say some of these, and would you be willing to say yours, Amy? Yeah. Yeah, whenever the time it feels right. I'm going to I'm going to read one for Peggy, since Peggy and Delilah are in, I think it's Cincinnati. I decided to do Adam and Allison together. They were both members. They were married. They died a little bit over a year apart from each other. And Peggy wrote something here. Most of you know my daughter, Allison Gunter Flowers. At the age of 40, she died of a heart attack on August 23rd, 2020, during the height of the COVID pandemic. Allison was a bright and shining soul who could light up a room. To know her was to love her and to be loved by her. Her beautiful smile and infectious, goofy laugh were her trademarks. She had more friends than anyone I know. You only had to meet her once, and you knew you had a lifelong friend. She was the life of every party that she attended, and she loved parties and went to every one she knew of, whether invited or not. Allison impacted many lives in her short time on this planet, as witnessed by the many friends who grieve her loss. Some of you may remember we had her memorial outside at Coonskin at the Schoenbaum Amphitheater. No one misses her more than her beautiful, smart, and funny daughter, Delilah. She is indeed her mother's daughter. Allison. All right, I'm going to open it up, and let me get the microphone, and whoever would like to pick up a picture and tell us about that person or your feelings about them, please feel free. I see Frank is getting his violin out, it looks like. No, he's getting, okay.
Thank you for getting this picture.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have a hand for this? You want me to hold something there?
Yeah, you can hold this.
All right.
Hold this. This is my wife, Larry.
Yeah, use the microphone, please.
This is my wife, Larry. We've been 49 years in March. This is our wedding photo. And
she made the dress, right?
she made the dress from a silk sari herself, just to, in a week. And in the same month, she got her PhD and her missus and made this dress, as well as carrying a full-time job.
It's an accomplished woman.
Accomplished woman, and arranging a wedding reception remotely. So she could do a lot of things. But she said something that still, and I just, rather than go, she was a kind, gentle, friendly sense of humor. But she made this statement, not exactly on our wedding day, but probably in a few days. We are just right for each other. That was it. So I miss her a lot. It's only been 7 months.
Thank you so much, Frank. Yeah. All right. Well, here comes Pam, here comes Alexa. Go ahead and get your picture, and you'll be on deck. Here comes, do you want to bring, Pam, do you want to bring a picture of whatever? No, you're not going to bring the picture. Would you bring it? Yeah, you would do them all, yeah? Okay. Well, I'm going to go get Blue's picture just to hold it.
Oh, goody. I promised the board and Sky I'd keep it PG, but I may not. So if lightning strikes the building, probably. All of these people have impacted my life, and if you get a chance, walk around and look at all the pictures, because Sky has really captured their spirit in all of them. All of them impacted my life, but I'm going to talk about the ones that impacted it the most, and I'll probably take up most of the time. Patricia, Ruth, and Dreama were like sisters. They were inseparable. They would argue like sisters, but they would do anything for each other. And Unity marched in the Gay Pride Parade several years ago, and I was in the same vehicle with them. Oof. Kate and Peggy were their chauffeurs most of the time, so they were the little sisters to the sisters. They were arguing about how to get downtown from the Unity parking lot where we all met. And I can't remember who was driving, but you go down Bridge Road and across the bridge. It wasn't difficult. By the time they were done arguing, we'd already parked, and we were already in the parade. But I choose to believe that the three of them in the afterlife are together, drinking their Wendy's smoothies, or Frosties. Sorry, I got corrected by Ruth on that one. Wendy's Frosties and the peach milkshakes from Chick-fil-A. That was their thing. But they loved each other. They would have done anything for each other. They battled like sisters, but they would have fought to the death for each other. And that taught me what friendship is to the three of them. This story I told at Ruth's funeral. This is the one not rated PG. Ruth would call every Tuesday afternoon and tell me what we needed to do to improve at the church. Most of the time, she was right, and we made those changes on some of them. But she was on oxygen the last several months, and she was very difficult to understand on the phone or in person, because Peggy and I and Kate visited her a lot. I would sit right up in front of her, and she was still hard to. But the last Tuesday that she called was a week and a half before she passed, and her voice was so clear and so loud, and she was so proud of herself. The hospice nurses were coming in to help take care of her. They knew her condition. They were a huge help. But she got a new one who wanted to sit on her couch and watch TV. And she said, I need help with this, I need help with that. And the lady didn't move. And she's like, are you just gonna sit all day on my couch and watch TV? And the lady said, probably most of this. And she's like, get the F-bomb out of my house. And, you know, she was laughing hysterically on the phone, so loud and so clear for several minutes. And she said, what do you think of that? And I said, I want to be you when I grow up. But she never stopped reading. She always was learning and knowledge. Most of her books are downstairs in the bookcase by the stage. She knew more about religion and spirituality in her little finger than I know in my whole body. But if I had a question about Unity or Course in Miracles, that's who I called, because she could tell me anything. Patricia, Sky's told this story quite a few times. Patricia found us by taking pictures of historical buildings in South Hills and in our area. She was fascinated by our stained glass windows. They had yellow plexiglass on the outside so you could barely see them, but she stopped to take pictures. I didn't even see her that day. She was outside. Blue was mowing the yard, and she asked him questions about Unity and the church, and he answered all of them. He went home to cool off. It was a really hot day. Came back and told me that she'd been out in the yard taking pictures. And he said, I invited her to church, but we are never going to see this lady again, ever. And I said, why? And he said, I'm outside mowing the yard. It's upper 80s to low 90s. I don't have on a shirt. I have a big pot belly. I'm wearing 2 dish towels around my head to get the sweat. I look like I'm from Egypt, and I didn't have my teeth in. He's like, this lady is running for the hills. He's like, we will never see her again. 3 days later, she showed up for church, and she never left. She loved this building and loved people.
And she thought that Blue was the minister.
She did.
Right?
Yeah, she thought that he was the minister. And after she met Sky could do no wrong. This man walked on water to her. But she used to joke that she sat in death row because she sat with Bob Smith and Dreama and Ruth, and they all wore hearing aids. So she always joked that she sat on death row. But I've never seen anybody dive in and fall in love with a place and the people so quickly. And she would argue with Danny Walker about Nebraska versus Oklahoma forever. but she loved everybody here. Blue, I'm the oldest of brothers, 2 brothers, and I grew up in a whole neighborhood of boys, very little exposure when I was very young to, female playmates. And I considered him my big brother. And I know David called him bro all the time. So David considered him a brother too. I don't want to look at it, or I'll cry. But it seemed like all the stories I came up with were about his false teeth, which wasn't great. But when we were working on this building, when we bought it, there were cracks in the ceilings and the walls, people painted. There was a camaraderie of getting this building ready, and it took a village. And I told him, he was laughing about a joke, I think Charlie told, and I said, you have the best smile and the best laugh. And he went, oh, that's because of these. And he just pulls them out, We used to eat lunch together once a week, discuss the church stuff. He was the repairman, he cleaned the church, and my favorite place to go was Dairy Queen, in North Charleston. And we would get our food and sit in his truck and just listen to the Creek Bible. We didn't have to say much at all. He always discreetly took his teeth out when he ate. He'd wrap them in a napkin. We pull up in the parking lot here. I get ready to go back to work, and he's like, where's my teeth? I don't know where your teeth are. He drove all the way back, and he'd accidentally thrown his false teeth in the trash. And he said he got there, and they're just smiling up at him. Like, where have you been? But it took another friend, J.R. Keener, to point out to me that what I had was a best friend, because we had no filter with each other. We could say anything to each other. He knew where I stood. I knew exactly where he stood. And if I ticked him off, he could march across the parking lot and go home. And he'd come back the next day, and, he'd be fine. He'd cool off. But he graduated from Bridge Valley when he was 65 years old, and he became a peer support counselor. And he had finally found his calling in life. And those clients meant the world to him. And he actually mourned the ones that he didn't succeed with, and the ones that he made a difference with in his life kept him going for months. And I feel like what Blue taught me was it's never too late, ever, to start over. We pulled up one time with a guy sitting on his doorstep over there, and he's like, oh, they found me. And the guy wanted to thank him. He had met his girlfriend, they'd had a baby, got an apartment, had jobs, and that kept him going for 6 months. That's all he talked about for a long time. But he truly taught me that it's never too late to start over, and you can do anything that you want to do. And I miss all of them. And like I told Sky, I didn't bring any picture up because all 12 of these, or 10 of these, meant the world to me. And we're stronger because of them. Sorry if I let the F-bomb fly, Phil, with Violet, but the children here are our future, and I'm a better person for doing all of them.
Hey, Dan.
You want to put it back?
All right, we got a couple other folks who have pictures. You want to come up, Amy? Yeah, why not?
Good morning. I didn't know Charlie very well, but I met him at the Enneagram class, and I enjoyed him a lot. He was a very successful businessman, and it turns out he owned the furniture store where Stephen and I bought our bed, and we sleep every night many, many years ago. We still sleep there now, but Charlie owned the store. So, but I got to know him a little bit through the Enneagram class, and I was impressed. He seemed like this very strong, capable businessman that was able to admit his stumblings and his flaws and do it so eloquently, and I really appreciated that. I guess maybe since my dad died when I was very young, I kind of saw him as a little bit of a father figure, in a way. And I just wish I had more time to get to know him better. But I'm glad I had the little bit of time that I did. That's all we got.
Several folks online had comments about Charlie. Mary Louise Charlie gave Mary Louise her first job at Bowles Furniture, and I think Alexa, did you have something for? And you've got some folks to remember too. If you guys want to come up. Charlie was Catholic, and well, he brought up Catholic, but he was a 12-step was his religion, and but he spent a lot of time here with us. All right, Alexa. And
I'm here, Megan.
Megan. I just need a name tag for you, I know.
Do you have what I wrote? Because I don't. That's excellent, because my mind doesn't. Thank you. Dottie. Yeah. Wild and free, beautiful, intelligent, fierce and loving, grounded, strong, forthright, kind. Generous, adventurer and explorer of life. She loved her family. She made her friends her family. She loved her spiritual life. She loved unity. She loved to listen to Sky talk. She loved soul collage. She loved Sue Monk Kids, The Dance of the Dissident Daughter. Oh, she loved that book. She loved pine cones. She loved the outdoors. She gave the greatest hugs, really big hugs. She'd say, "I'm gonna waller you," and she would. And now she is everywhere. She's everywhere, and she's in everyone that she loved. And she lives on, and I'm so grateful to have known her.
And the reason I came up here with Alexa is because we have a shared connection to Dottie. Dottie visits us sometimes, and she just shows up when she needs to remind us that she's with us and to attend to our spiritual path. She was absolutely in love with soul collage. She had such a big spirit, a generous spirit. She told you exactly what she thought about anything and everything. And yeah, she lives on in both of us. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to come up here together for Dottie. So, yeah. And yes, and I wanted to share a few other things. So, you can stay up here with me, or if you want to sit down, whichever one. I don't want you to feel like you have to stand here and, so, yes, for Alexa. I wanted to share a few things because I look around this room at all these beautiful faces. And there's a lot of people I didn't know. They were here before I was a part of Unity. And so I just want to start by saying that I feel such gratitude for the legacy that they have carried on in this place. This place is such a beacon of light. I mean, I tell people all the time, this place is what it seems to be. You know, we've all probably been places that when we peek behind the curtain, we're like, oh God. Like, Unity's not that. And it's because of the loving spirits that brought this place into fruition, that dreamed it and envisioned it and made it happen. And I have such gratitude for the authentic light that this place brings into our community and to each of our lives. I just want to say a little bit about a few people. Loree, she was in my very first Artist Way group back in 2009, and she's probably the first person that dropped the seed in me to become a spiritual director. She let me know she saw that in me before I saw it in myself. So such gratitude for that. Blue, he's so ornery. What do you say about Blue? Like, he and I gave each other such a hard time, but there was such a sweet little love and friendship and connection there that we had that was just so sweet. Even though you wouldn't have known it by the way we talked to each other. But we knew it. Patricia, I got to be the recipient of her generosity so many times, and I'm just grateful for her generous spirit. I already mentioned Dottie, and Dottie's just, to know her is to love her. She's just such a big, beautiful soul. Ruth really helped me she was also in an Artist Way group I had. And I said in the group one time, we were talking about, it's never too late. And we were talking about Georgia O'Keeffe and all she did when she was in her 80s even. And I said, well, nobody in this group's in their 80s. I mean, we've still got lots of time. And Ruth came to me afterwards and said, well, actually, I am in my 80s. And the message that I got from her was just that while we are here on this earth, let's just keep living, live all the way to the end. And she was so good at that. She lived all the way until she died. And then Ayla, what do you say about Ayla? What do you say about an earth angel? So much of the healing in my life and other people I know is because of Ayla. She was just a beautiful, beautiful gift that this earth got to have for the time she was here. And so, just so much gratitude for all who've gone on and all who remain, and for the light we continue to nurture in this place.
Anyone else care to share anything? Sharon?
Thank you. Hello. I recently talked a little bit about the history of Unity of Kanawha Valley, and so I want to talk about one of the historical characters. Patricia Olmosk is back there in that window. If you have ever had any interactions with this church since about the year 2000, you have been dealing with Ms. Pam Hippler, who is everywhere all the time, available, no matter when you say, oh, just don't even look at this email till you're at work. No way. She's on it. So the incredible opportunities that we have had here because of Pam's presence reminds me of one of the founders of our church, Patricia Olmosk, whose husband Kurt is here today. As one of the founders, Patricia took on more responsibility than even the early ministers that we had, because she's the person who set up all the policies, procedures, the connection with Unity Worldwide. And something just as simple as how to operate the church. She volunteered her time, and she always called herself as a volunteer. She, with our first minister was here, we were meeting at the Y, and they needed to have some sort of an office or a place to do the business of the church. So we rented a space in South Charleston, and Patricia volunteered to be the secretary. So I always call her the secretary administrator, because she literally organized every other aspect of the church. And I can't even tell you what a big job that was. To start out a church, to figure out the policies, to set up the rules and regulations, to show up to serve the minister, to be the first face that people saw when they came to anything that we did. She continued in that role through Woody Hawley's ministry, and when he died, she called it a close to her service. She went on for many years to serve the southeastern region of Unity Churches. We're not a member of that. We're the northeastern group. So she served as a secretary for that organization for many, many, many years, and was just, a beacon of organization, of order, and of just to see her mind work was an incredible blessing. Do you want to say something, Kurt? So I just leave you with that thought again of our founders, how brave they were, what an incredible opportunity they found in Charleston, and we are here because of their service, and one of those important people was Patricia and her husband, Kurt. Thank you.
Looks like we've named everyone except for Juanita Ruth One. Juanita Ruth One is kind of on the other side of things because she was a citizen of the world. She was an amazing person. Her photograph is there in the middle of the Jesus window, always wearing a hat. I believe she changed her name to One, O-N-E, because of her sense of spirituality, that the world is one. And one of the many ways she proved that was by moving to Ecuador and living in Ecuador, finding a community there at the end of her life, and that's where she passed away. Maria and I were going to visit her in Ecuador. We were in touch with her, and we missed that visit by about 6 months. We had, if I recall correctly, we had a service here for her, and it was attended from people from all over the world on Zoom. It was absolutely an amazing celebration of life. Well, I want to close this part of our service with another invitation to feel free to write on the back of these placards, these little posters, whatever, if you just want to say hi, whatever you'd like to say. I'm reminded of a guy in Japan who bought a London telephone booth and set it up in his backyard. This is a true story. This isn't a joke. He put it up in his backyard because he thought it was kind of an interesting piece of sculpture. And then he noticed that people were coming to the phone booth, like they would park on the side of the road, they would walk into his yard, and they would go into the phone booth and start talking. And the phone wasn't hooked up to anything. And so after watching this for a couple of weeks, he asked somebody what they were doing, and they said, I'm talking to my ancestors. I'm talking to my father. I'm talking to my husband who passed on. And so he put up a little sign, and he said, feel free to come whenever you want to talk with someone who's passed on. And then some radio producers heard about this, and they asked permission, and they put a little microphone in the, have you heard this? Is it This American Life? Or, yeah, I'll send the link out for it. But they put a little microphone, and people would come on an annual basis to talk to this person that they had lost. And I thought that was such a beautiful story. And I think this is our opportunity to say hi to these folks who we have lost from this world. I'm partially saying that because Blue was a character, and I have my phone here. The day that Blue died, he called me. I was in Florida with our family, and he left me a message. And he said, that's not what he said. No problem, Steve. Well, maybe it is, yeah. No, it's okay. So he left me a message, and the message said, Sky, I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go. And I just wanted to call you and let you know and thank you. And he talked for a couple of minutes. I picked up the message about 15 minutes later, and I called him, and we had a final goodbye, and he died an hour or two later. And I bring that up because I still have the message on my phone. I have not been able to erase or delete any of the names of these folks off my phone. I'm sure I just don't want to, I don't know what it is. I'm really glad to have this, to have his voice, and to have some of our other friends and members' voices, and what we've done here today just to carry on this memory. So thank you all so much for joining and taking a part of this time. And thank you, Sharon, for remembering, and Alexa and Megan for honoring. It takes a village, right? It takes a village to keep a place going, and we represent something unique here, and I'm so glad for everyone's participation. The road does rise up to meet you. I can't remember the rest of it, but it's all okay. And who's taking us home? I know we have a song about the village, if we're not too late. And is that on? There we go.
If the ushers could come forward. And we can read together our offering blessing. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, I trust God, and I am grateful.
Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of love fills the air, guiding my journey home. Where is the path beyond the forest? Where is the song I always knew? I remember it just around the bend. In the village, the music never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend. When we touch common ground, sing it with me. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend. When we touch common ground. Voices are calling round the earth. Spirit is rising in the sea. The spirit of love fills the air, guiding my journey home. Here is the path beyond the forest. Here is the song I always knew. I remember it just around the bend. In the music, the village never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend. When we touch common ground, in a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend. When we touch common ground. friends. In a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Thanks, man.
Mother, Father, God, we are so grateful for these offerings and blessings. We're so grateful to come together today. We are so grateful to share our memories of our loved ones. We know that death is not the end, and we are not alone. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
And we can now rise for our peace song and birthdays.
So Barbie had the idea that maybe we leave space when we do our circles, but I think it might be interesting if you would grab a photograph and we'll just have these folks join us in the circle.
Okay, so are there any birthdays or anniversaries?
Grab a
or-
photograph. There's some, let's not leave anyone, we're not going to leave anybody behind today.
Pam has a birthday, had a birthday.
Let's see. Well, it looks like we're going to do our peace song then.
Pam, would you?
Pam had a birthday.
Pam and Tenny, would you get the
Pam?
ones over there, the photographs?
Yeah.
Pam had a birthday. Okay, we're going to sing to Pam.
And
Happy birthday.
Frank's going to come and play with us. This man. Okay.